Hi, this is Shelley Kraft, and welcome to SNN Live. We're at the 2011 Silver Summit in the Davenport Hotel in lovely Spokane, Washington. Standing next to me is Mr. Eric Sprott of Sprott Money, a featured speaker at the conference, and we're going to find out, ladies and gentlemen, all about silver and what's going on in today's market. Eric, welcome to SNN Live.
Good to be here, Shelley.
It's always good.
I always love talking about silver.
I thought you were going to say, I always love talking to me.
I would love talking to you too.
Silver.
Yeah.
Oof. I mean, I know you're bullish. What's going on? You know, people, I know we'll get a lot of people listening to this interview.
Right. Well, I think what's happened is there's two markets in silver. There's a paper market and there's a physical market. And the paper market is dominated by a few large banks. And we've seen a couple of severe takedowns here. When silver got up to $49.50, between the SLV, the COMEX, and the LBMA, I think they traded 1 billion ounces of silver that day. We only produced 900 million ounces a year. So obviously the people who were selling the 1 billion ounces, who simply are people pressing a button on a computer, had no way of delivering the silver, which is just a testament to how much these various markets are paper markets. And I spent most of my time looking at the physical market and waiting for that day when the physical buyers overwhelmed the paper sellers.
Sounds to me like the old Hunt debacle.
Yeah, well, maybe in reverse.
Exactly.
The bad guys are on the other side of the fence. But I really do believe that when you look at what's happened to the short interest in the COMEX, it's gone down dramatically for various reasons. Perhaps the concern about the upcoming position limits on the COMEX might have had something to do with it. But every time I look at any of this data on silver, I see silver demand in fact exceeding gold demand in dollars, which is a staggering number, considering that the amount of gold available to buy in dollars is like probably 100 times the amount of silver to buy. So I think in due course, when we look at these various data points such as U.S. mint sales, Canadian mint sales, the purchases in the ETF, the volumes that China is demanding currently, which are approaching 100 million ounces a year when they used to be a seller of 100 million ounces a year, that the physical buyers will overwhelm this market.
I think, in my opinion, what I see is that the demand hasn't been completely valued by the traders. And I think that they still only see the trading.
Well, obviously, for people, I go back to, somebody selling 1 billion ounces. What are they thinking? They don't have any billion ounces they're going to sell, and I think it's just a paper market that they can play around in. But ultimately, things will revert back to the physicalness of silver, as it is doing in gold. When we see some of the data points that tell us that gold demand has skyrocketed here, and the supply is basically flat, so something's got to give here. And I think James Turk put it best when he said, it's just a managed slow retreat. So we'll get the price back up there.
When do you think the values of the underlying silver juniors that are around, like this conference and other conferences, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I think the stocks are incredibly undervalued these days. I mean, I have people come into my office and I can look at stocks and I think, boy, 2 years out, this stock might be trading at 3 times earnings based on the price of silver today. And of course, I imagine the price of silver is going to be higher. There hasn't been the participation that we might imagine, because anytime a precious metal price goes down, there's weakness in the stocks. So we need to see the price of silver and gold rally here, and I think when they do, just as happened in 08, I think the UE index got down to something like 150 and proceeded to go to 600, which is a 300% gain. On probably what was $500 or $600 move in the price of gold. So I think if that happens in gold and silver again, we'll see some real action in the stocks.
Question: with the purchasing of physical silver that's increasing on a daily basis in North America, and for that matter, around the world. Right. Let's be frank.
Yeah.
That, along with increasing usage of silver in pharmaceuticals and in green products of all kinds and throughout the system, aren't we beginning to see the development of a perfect storm in the precious metals in general?
Well, I've always imagined that, and I don't even count on industrial production, use of silver in industrial production going up. I simply look at the investment demand, and to be brutally honest, it's not even so much the investment demand in the developed countries. Probably what's way more important is the demand in the undeveloped countries like China and India, where we've seen very, very dramatic changes, which I don't know how we are fulfilling that demand, quite frankly. But
well, I don't even know if India has. Do they have silver?
No, they have very little precious metal production. So everything they buy, they have to import. And I noticed the latest data point from India, their gold and silver imports for the period from April 1st to August 30th was up 130% year over year. So it just shows you what's happening to demand over there.
Well, that's a leading indicator. What is your website?
Well, you can go to SprottMoney.com. We sell gold and silver coins, both Canadian, U.S., Swiss. So all the information is available there, and if they want any information about Sprott Asset Management, they can go to Sprott.com and learn all sorts of things about the various products we have, including the Silver Trust, the Gold Trust, the various hedge funds and mutual funds we have.
So if we had to give a short snippet of what you think is going to happen in the near term in silver,
sure.
What do you say?
Well, it depends on what you mean by the near term. Like, I'm not a near term kind of guy, but I've espoused that the price of silver should trade in a ratio 16 to 1 to gold. Gold is 1,600. I'm not going to be surprised to see silver at $100 here. And of course, I fully expect the price of gold to rise too. So we could see some pretty big targets in silver here in the next couple of years.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eric Sprott, thank you so much for coming on to SNN Live.
My pleasure.
My pleasure.
Okay.